drops out of school at 15, found a job delivering ice to earn money. He was looked down upon everywhere he went, but no one could have imagined he would become a billionaire on the Forbes list. And his fortune came from this newspaper. It's about a man called Andrew Carnegie, a man you've no doubt heard of. He was the Steel King. He also dropped out of school early to make money. He also started delivering telegrams at the age of 14. But eventually Carnegie became a billionaire. Seeing this, the boy swore to God and to the powers that had despised him. He vowed that he would become a billionaire too. When he returned home, the boy took out the newspaper and told his father that I wanted to be a billionaire too. And this is what his father said in reply. Boy, you're not going to be rich. You'll only be one kind of man, and that's a lowlife. That's what my father taught me. So that's what I'm teaching you today. Listening to his father's nonsense, the boy didn't say a word. And then he looked at his mother, who was very sick. He didn't want to be like his father and live like a loser for the rest of his life. He couldn't even afford to pay for his mother's medicine. He decided to go out and make a living, because he knew the only way to save his mother was to make a lot of money. But what he didn't know was that, if he left, he would never see his mother again. The boy had no money to buy a ticket. He had to sneak onto the train that had just started, and so he woke up. He arrived in Texas. He jumped off the train just before it arrived. A little confused when he got off the train. He didn't know where to go, so he followed a small group of people ahead of him, and he followed them to a small town. There was a farmer in town who was hiring in order to eat. The boy was desperate to get ahead. He was eager to recommend himself to the farmer, but the man wanted a big, strong man. So the boy turns around and picks up the big fat man next to him to prove that he was strong. This made the farmer laugh, seeing how positive he was. So he decided to take him with him. On the farm, the boy met the best friend of his life, a boy of his age who had fallen on hard times. Gus. In fact, Gus was originally born into a wealthy farming family, but because of the recession, he had to work for others to make a living. His dream was to revive his family's business, to become the biggest farmer in Texas. Two young souls, both down on their luck. And so the two young souls, both down and out, encouraged by each other. In the evenings, watching the workers gather to play cards, the boy was deep in thought. He felt that if he continued to work like this, he would never be a billionaire in his life. He would end up like the rest of them, just muddling through. So, the boy approached the farmer. Straight away, he asked, I want to know how I can be as rich as you are. The farmer told him, there are many conditions for success, but you can only be successful if you are the leader of your circle. That was a wake-up call for the boy. He asked the farmer if we finish the job early, wouldn't that save you money? The farmer said yes. Then the boy said, I can finish the job tomorrow. You'll give me a share of the money you save. How about that? The farmer smiled, and he replied, I admire you very much, but you can't do it all. The boy was not convinced. Early the next morning, when everyone else woke up sleepily to start work, the boy was long gone. He'd been working since 3 a.m. He'd figured out the workflow. Then he asked his workmates to share the work. One was responsible for digging the hole. The other was responsible for the installation. It was like a factory assembly line. The farmer was watching him, and he smiled with delight. And so it was. They were so much more efficient. The work was finished ahead of schedule, and the boy got his extra pay. It was his first payment of $30. After receiving the money, the first thing the boy did was to send home $20 of it to buy medicine for his mother. And that's when the boy met the greatest opportunity of his life. You could say it was a man of fortune.